If you miss the manifestation of these 4 planets, then you have not understood your horoscope at all. Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We have gone a lot of in-depth into understanding various manifestations of astrology, of our horoscope, and also trying to understand how and where we can manifest the best results, what we need to do, how we should be looking in depth into the results. However, what I have found is, in spite of going down to the deepest level, many times we miss why astrology needs to be looked at from not only the house lord's perspective or the signs of exaltation or debilitation of planets, but also at a nakshatra level. I have done a number of videos on the nakshatra level energies also. For instance, I have done one video specifically on what are the 4 signs which rule the D9 chart, the Navamsa chart, and what are those signs which will give you the deepest manifestation of results. However, before we go into the D9, the Navamsa chart, I have also talked about what are the specifically those 4 energies or 4 planetary energies which control your entire horoscope of the Lagna chart, of the D1 chart. Though I have not specifically made a video specifically only on this topic, but I found that it has been missed and many times people still have doubts about it. Now, in my consultation, whoever has approached me for consultation, you know that I talk not only about the house lords or houses or dignity of the house lords, but I go down to the nakshatra level. I look at which is the nakshatra of the house lord and what is the house lord doing, how is its dignity and so forth, and then I come out with the overall analysis of, in a combined way, what is the house lord doing and what is the nakshatra lord doing. Now, when I'm talking about the nakshatra lord, here I'm not talking about the birth nakshatra lord. Here I'm talking about the nakshatra lord of the house or the houses. Now, what am I talking about? Now, I have done videos about, of course, we know the birth nakshatra is important by virtue of which nakshatra the moon is lying, and that nakshatra's lord becomes the birth nakshatra lord. Obviously, it has a lot of importance, maybe the most importance in the horoscope. However, I have also talked about the ascendant's nakshatra also, whereby I have talked about the specific degree in which the ascendant lies, the nakshatra which is occupying that degree. That nakshatra's lord also becomes very, very important in manifesting the different results of the lagna, the first house, the ascendant, and to a large extent it will also be the driving force of the goals, of your stature, of the dignity. But is that the only nakshatra which is important, and the nakshatra which moon lies in is important, and those nakshatra lords are important? No. Why is it so? Because each house will also occupy the same degree at which the ascendant lies. So, for example, if the ascendant is at 5 degrees, whichever sign that may be occupying the first house, if the ascendant is at 5 degrees of that sign, then the 5 degrees of the second house sign, the 5 degrees of the third house sign, the 5th degree of the 4th house sign, and so on. The 5th degree of all the 12 houses becomes very, very important, and that specific nakshatra which lies at the 5th degree of that particular sign which is ruling that particular house, that specific nakshatra becomes important, and that particular house in which that nakshatra is placed is not only given results by the house lord, but also that the nakshatra lord which is occupying that specific sign degree, which here we are talking about the 5th degree of each house or each sign of your horoscope, the nakshatra which is lying at that 5th degree and the nakshatra lord which rules that nakshatra becomes very, very important. Now, you will see there is a pattern in our horoscopes also, which means there are only 4 planets which rule all those nakshatras which are occupying the specific degree of the ascendant at which the ascendant lies, the same degree whichever all the other 11 houses have. At that specific degree, whichever nakshatra is occupying that particular degree, you will find only the same 4 planets will be ruling all the 12 nakshatras at that specific degree in your horoscope. Now, if your ascendant, for example, is in the Aries sign, and in Aries it is at 5 degrees of Aries, what is the nakshatra which lies at 5 degrees of Aries? It is the Ashwini nakshatra. Then the ascendant nakshatra is Ashwini, and the ascendant nakshatra lord is Ketu, which means whichever is the ascendant lord, here we are talking about Mars. Mars will be the Lagna lord, but the nakshatra lord of the ascendant of the first house is Ketu, which means Mars and Ketu together will manifest the results of the Lagna and not Mars alone. And this is the point that we miss out. We look at only the dignity of Mars. We are not looking at the dignity of Ketu. Where is Ketu placed? Because Ketu is the nakshatra lord at the specific degree 5 degrees which the ascendant lies. Then the 5 degrees of the second house of Taurus, the 5 degrees of the third house of Gemini, then the 5 degrees of the fourth house of Cancer all become important. The nakshatras which lie at the 5 degrees of Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, they all become important, and their nakshatra lords become very important. So here, if your ascendant is Aries and at 5 degrees Ashwini ruled by Ketu, and Ketu becomes the ascendant nakshatra lord or the nakshatra which rules the ascendant, then 5 degrees of Taurus, which has then the Kritika nakshatra ruled by Sun, becomes important. So the second house results will be manifested by both Venus which rules Taurus as well as Sun which rules Kritika. Then the third house Gemini, 5 degrees of Gemini ruled by the Mrigashira nakshatra, and the Mrigashira nakshatra lord is Mars. So the third house results will be coming to you by the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, as well as the ruler of Mrigashira, which is Mars. Then the fourth house Cancer, 5 degrees of Cancer. In the 5 degrees of Cancer lies the Pushya nakshatra ruled by Saturn. So the fourth house results will come to you by virtue of Cancer sign being ruled by Moon, the fourth house lord, as well as Saturn, the nakshatra lord of Pushya nakshatra, which means the 4 planets which will be adding to or manifesting or contributing to the energies or to the results apart from the house lords will be the nakshatra lords. Here we are talking about Ketu, Sun, Mars and Saturn. Then if you look at the 5 degrees of the 5th house, the 6th house, the 7th house, the 8th house, you will find the same 4 planets in a cycle will rule all the nakshatras at the 5 degrees of the 5th house, the 6th house, the 7th house and the 8th house. Then the 9th and 11th and 12th, which means in a cycle you will get the nakshatra lord of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th which will be Ketu, Sun, Mars and Saturn. Then the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th house will also be Ketu, Sun, Mars and Saturn. And then the 9th and 11th, 12th house will also be Ketu, Sun, Mars and Saturn. And these 4 planets, Ketu, Sun, Mars and Saturn, rule the nakshatras of each of the 3 houses. Say for example, if the first house herein we are talking about Ketu ruling the first house, then Ketu will also be the nakshatra lord of the 5th house as well as your 9th house. Then if your second house nakshatra lord is Sun, then the 6th house nakshatra lord is also Sun, and the 10th house nakshatra lord is also Sun. Then if your third house nakshatra lord is Mars, then the 7th house nakshatra lord is also Mars, and your 11th house nakshatra lord is also Mars. And then if the 4th house nakshatra lord is Pushya being the nakshatra ruled by Saturn, then the 8th house nakshatra at the specific degree will also be Saturn at 5 degrees, and the 12th house at 5 degrees nakshatra lord will also be Saturn, which means the same nakshatra lord will rule the first 5 and 9th house of gains. Now sometimes we will feel that okay, the ascendant lord is exalted but I am not getting results, or the 5th house is exalted, I am still not getting gains, very high gains. 9th house lord is exalted or placed very well or in a good yoga, still I am not getting gains. The reason could be that the 1st house nakshatra, the 5th house nakshatra and the 9th house nakshatra is ruled by the same nakshatra lord, and that lord is not in good dignity, is in a bad dosha. Then how can you get very good gain in spite of the house lord plays very well? Because the houses results will come in combination with the house lord planet's dignity as well as the nakshatra lord's planet's dignity as well. So if you're missing which are these 4 planets which are ruling the nakshatras of 3 houses each. So first house, 5th house, 9th house, the same nakshatra lord. The second house, the 6th house, the 10th house, same nakshatra lord. The third house, the 7th house, the 11th house, the same nakshatra lord. The 4th house, the 8th house and the 12th house, the same nakshatra lord. Which means the 4th and the 8th and the 12th ruled by the same nakshatra lord. So your moksha is to a large extent depending on that specific nakshatra lord, and not only of the 4th house lord or the 8th house lord or the 12th house lord. So if you're truly looking at why am I not able to get the peace, why I'm not able to get solutions from all these agitations of the 8th house or the 12th house, then you may be missing the energies, you may be missing the characteristics, you may be missing the personality of the 4th house nakshatra lord, the 8th house nakshatra lord, the 12th house nakshatra lord, which is the same. Here we are talking about if your ascendant is at 5 degrees of Aries, then the 4th house nakshatra lord, the 8th house nakshatra lord and the 12th house nakshatra lord is the same, which is Saturn. So to get moksha, unless you follow Saturn, you gain the personality of Saturn, you follow in the footsteps of Saturn, you become more humble in your efforts, you are more giving, you are more service oriented, you are more of a team player, and you are more of a servant oriented person, you will not get the moksha. Especially the results of the 4th house, even assets may not come to you as stronger unless you are also following in the footsteps of Saturn, apart from the 4th lord moon. If you want to get good results in your marital relationship, 7th lord here is Libra ruled Venus, but the nakshatra lord is Mars. So while you're chasing the manifestation of Venus, if you're not also serving in your marital relationship, you're not serving in partnership, you will not get results of the partnership as well. So keep in mind that each of these 4 planets, whichever are ruling the 1st, 2nd, 3rd house and the 4th house nakshatras, the same are also going in a pattern, in a cycle, with 1st, 5th, 9th, 2nd, 6th, 10th, 3rd, 7th, 11th and 4th, 8th and 12th. And you need to deeply look at what is the dignity of these specific planets, which are these nakshatra lords, and then follow in the footsteps of the planet, then you get very good results. Many a times I've seen a number of people suggest to me, sir, look at this video, this person is giving these remedies and all that. Now what happens? Sometimes people will say, okay, if for this I had told you, you do this, you will get a solution. But these are short-lived solutions. These Lal Kitab solutions, or chant these mantras, or feed the black crow this, or do this, are very small and temporary remedies. These don't work in the long run for more serious defects. For example, ask somebody to just chant mantras or do these small donations and see if your cancer can be solved, or long-term unemployment could be gone, or all your investments are secured. You will not get those results. For very serious challenges, for chronic challenges, long-term challenges, just doing small mantras, chanting or some small remedies will not help. You will have to manifest the nature of the nakshatra lord specifically, which is ruling at the specific degree of that house. If you don't do that, because that nakshatra lord also rules the energies of that trine houses 1, 5, 9, 2nd, 6, 10, 3rd, 7th, 11 and 4th, 8th and 12. If you're not following in the footsteps of the planet, not following in the characteristic, the personality of the planet, only chanting mantras or doing small remedies will be helpful to you only in the short run. For example, somebody says, if you have back pain, do these small 2-3 remedies, but somebody is not helping you to manifest or become the characteristic which Saturn wants you to follow. Becoming humble, serving the poor and the needy, looking at the old age people, being more service oriented on your day-to-day, then you may not get long-term results in your relationship or manifesting your health. So for long-term results, for long-term more concrete manifestations, of course you need to look at what is the Lagna energies. Of course you also need to look at the moon's nakshatra. Of course you also need to look at the Navamsa at a very finer level. But if you're not looking at what are the nakshatra level energies and what are the 4 planets which are in a cycle ruling all your 12 houses, and if you're not following in the direction of that particular planet, not living the life of the planet, the characteristics of the planet, the personality of the planet and what the planet is expecting you, then you will find that in a cycle you will go through challenges one after the other. That particular dasha of a planet, when it comes specifically, which is ruling through the nakshatras, these trine houses each, you will find you will face more challenges, more problems. So look beyond your house lords. Also look at not only the moon's nakshatra, but at the specific degree in which that particular house lord lies, at that nakshatra lord's dignity, how you will be able to manifest better results. If your 9th house is ruled by the Cancer sign, only looking at the dignity of moon will not be enough to see whether you are getting best results in your education. Your moon may be exalted, yet you may not be getting good results. Why? If your 9th house is occupied by the Cancer sign at the 5th degree, ruled by Pushya nakshatra is ruled by Saturn, then the 5th degree of the ascendant is also ruled by Saturn, and the 5th degree of the 5th house is also ruled by Saturn. So Saturn's dignity will be very important for overall gains and of your education, also long distance travel. So my friends, look beyond only the lagna, or look beyond only the moon, or look in between the energies of the nakshatras which rule the 12 houses of your lagna chart and the navamsa. So only when you look at holistically and look at the nakshatra level energies and the pada level energies which the D9 chart, the navamsa chart gives, only then you will be able to manifest the biggest gains, by being able to understand at a deeper level, at a foundational level, at a DNA level, what the lagna specific nakshatra level energies are giving you and what your navamsa level energies are giving you. So I hope you look beyond just ordinary mantras or chanting of and doing small remedies, because if mantras and these small donations would have helped, and everybody would have just done these remedies and solved all their problems. But we know that's not how it works. You need to look at it more seriously, long term, and for that you also need to look at what are the 4 lords of each of those 12 house nakshatras which are in a cycle giving you or manifesting the deepest results in your life. So friends, understand your nakshatra level energies well, and using those, try to get the best results and avoid the biggest challenges in your life, so that you have more prosperous results in your life. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.